Hi, my name is Maelia Salcines. I am Miss Grand Paraguay, and this is my interview with the Pageant Project.
Hello, everyone. It's Adrian from the Pageant Project. My special guest for today, you know her as Miss Grand Paraguay. I know her as that hot mess. Maelia Salcines. Maelia, welcome back. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for the introduction. That was pretty spot on. Still
I
relates
guess
to my life.
some things are never going to change, huh? Well, Maelia, first off, let me say congratulations. And I was so happy. I think I saw your Instagram story first, that you had finally won your big title. So if I can take you back, I don't know if it feels like a lifetime ago already, because pageant land moves quickly. How did it feel? And how does it feel now?
So it felt like literally a dream come true with all that hard work, dedication that I put into my pageant career and wanting to represent my country in an international pageant. I felt so proud of myself, and it was just it finally felt like everything that I went through, all the times I've been told no, or all the redirections was for this moment. And I look back now and I always tell people, like, these things had to have happened in order for me to get better and continue going with this career that I actually really love pageantry, and I didn't want it to be over, even though considering this is my last year to have won the title for Miss Grand Paraguay. So I'm just on cloud nine still, but now it's all these things because now I'm preparing. And for me, I really want to give my 110% to everything that I am going to embark on in the next few months, because the competition is in October and it'll be in Vietnam.
Now, I know I can see a bunch of you have tuned in. What I told Miley is that we'd get her to catch us up on all her preparations first, and then we'll switch over to Q&A. So if you want to hold your questions until then, I'll circle back to them. And if they're in Spanish, if they're in English, I'll read them out. If they're in Spanish, I will get Malia to read them out
Yeah.
because I do not speak Spanish. If it was French, I could give it a go. But Miley, I saw a photo of you hugging someone after your win. Was that your mum who was there?
Oh, yeah, she was wearing white and it was a real, and I'm gonna get sentimental talking about it. But yes, it was my mom. She was my momager, and we worked. She supported me through it all. My whole family supported me through it all, and I was really surprised because a lot of people, especially in the U.S., they don't really consider pageantry as, like, a hobby or sport. But for me, it was definitely something that gave me purpose in my life and made me realize, like, it's not just about beauty, it's also about beauty with a purpose. At least for
Mm.
me, that's what it was and still is. So to have that moment with my mom and see how emotional she got, and also how proud of me she was. So it was just a moment that was actually more special than actually being crowned, because it was we finally are here and we're finally getting to go together, because it is a team effort for me. So I'm really excited. It was a great moment.
Who cried more?
I don't know. I think I saw my parents, like, when we were waving or whatever, and they were crying already. So it got me emotional. But once I saw her go up, I was like, "Come up, like, you can come up," and it was just like waterworks. So it was because she knows everything I've been through,
Yeah.
the things that I don't talk about on social media, the things that I want to keep to myself. And
Mm.
um, it's awesome having that, her and my father and my whole family and friends, as that support that I needed, especially emotionally and mentally.
So You're a bit I think it's a bit of an unusual position because obviously you've worked so hard to get this title. But in some ways now that's just it's just the beginning of the journey because now you've got to gear up and prepare to take on even bigger stage and even bigger competition in Miss Grand International, which is one of the biggest and certainly one of the most watched pageants in the world, competing against national representatives from probably over 60, 70, 80, maybe towards 100 countries. So, how has it been like? So, you got crowned Miss Grand Paraguay, but as I said, that's like the end of one journey, and now it's the beginning of almost another one. So,
Yes.
how have you been approaching this whole thing?
So at first, I did want to take kind of like a mental break to regroup and kind of recharge because I think it's so important. I always say pageantry is a mental game, just as any kind of
Mm,
sport or competitive sport, cheerleading, whatever you're in, it's the same kind of like mental strain that you have to and
mm.
strength that you have to kind of build. So I took a little break and now I am coming back stronger than ever. I have a lot of plans and everything already set up. So I'm just, I got to take it day by day at this point. But I am super excited because it is over 60, 70, 80 girls, which
Mm.
I have competed at Miss Texas USA, so I'm used to competing with over 100 girls, but it's still different because this is like top of the top. Like I am so excited, and I made a group chat with all the candidates so far, and it's just
Okay.
awesome. Yeah, it's awesome to like get to know each other even before, and we're so excited to meet each other. They're really cool. Like I love getting to meet the queens from all over the world.
Well, we'll be adding our Aussie Queen into the mix in about a month. We're having our Miss Grand Australia in July. I'm curious, are the emotions now you're gearing up for the biggest competition of your life? Is it nerves or is it excitement or is it a bit of a mix of both?
Um, Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I am more ready than I thought I would be. In the sense of, I thought I would be nervous. I thought I would
Hmm.
have these, like nervousness going into it. But when I think about like actually stepping on to the stage, or just even the activities, I am excited. I am so blessed to have this opportunity. So I think that's why I'm not really nervous because I feel like I was meant to go down this path. And with through all the preparation that I'll be doing, I think I know that I'll be a okay. But I'm sure once I get there though, like if it comes down to like the top 10, top 5, I'm sure that's a different story.
A bit of a clammy hand syndrome will
Yes.
come out. What I mean, there's so many aspects to tackling an international pageant of this magnitude. What are the aspects that you're most excited to? Is it a national costume? Is it a walk? Is it a chance to? We've got finger guns going on. So, what are you most excited about right
I
now?
am most excited about national costume. I don't know why. That's my favorite part watching international pageants is the costume. And I'm excited. I have an idea of what I want to do, but I have to see with the organization and see if we can actually like follow through with it. But I think also I went to Orlando, Florida last week, and I had a walking session with Benjamin. He's from Puerto Rico, so I had my first walking lesson with him, and he kind of already we kind of already talked about what I'm going to do for Miss Grand
Hmm.
Paraguay. And I also have the sponsor for Miss Grand Paraguay. His name's Vidal, that I'm going to be working with whenever I go back and visit. So I'll be going back and forth a few times before competition starts. And I'm excited to work with him too and just continue to practice my walk. But I'm excited to show that Latin flair on that stage.
It sounds like you haven't had much chance to rest or catch your breath. It sounds like it's been go 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 since you won.
It really has. It has been go, go, go. And I've been traveling a lot too because of work and, just the trainings that I'm doing. I'm really taking advantage of the time I have now. So by the time, competition does come, I can focus on the little things like wardrobe, styling, and kind of putting everything together. And now, like looking like fast forward, I'm kind of like, oh my God, that's so exciting. It's only 4 months away. That's not a lot of time.
No, not in pageant land. It will fly
Mhm.
by very quickly. Guys, I'm going to circle around to the questions in a bit. So if you have any questions for our queen, put them in the comments. Put them in again in case you asked a while ago, and I'll circle around to them in a sec. But Miley, just one more question from me for now, which is, how are you going to portray Paraguay on stage? So obviously you love the national costume, that's going to be part of it. But what are you most excited about, sort of portraying on the stage as, or with the other girls, the other women, as Miss Grand Paraguay?
So I am incorporating a little bit of Paraguay in my outfits and the styling that I do, but also just sharing my story and also utilizing social media to continue to share with everyone else the beauty of Paraguay and why it is so special. And I think just surrounding yourself with other countries too, you're able to share those different types of culture, but I feel like the wearing, Paraguay designers and the clothes and just embodying that, I think, is what I'm most excited for. And that's how I'm going to showcase my country because we have really great things that I feel like outside doesn't really know much about our culture. So I'm really excited to share more.
Now, I have circled round to the comments. There's a lot of comments, but there aren't so many questions. So there's lots of emojis. There's red heart
No.
shapes. Let's go, Queen. So Queen, I'll bring some of them up so that you can see them. So we got Let's Go, Queen. Ralph has said good evening. Raven
Oh
has
my
said I
God,
love you.
Raven! I want to say something about Raven. Raven
Okay.
has been a mentor, just like the best guide I could have during pageantry. I don't know how she found me. She's like the Wendy Williams of pageantry. That was on her bio on Instagram. So, but she literally, I don't know what I would do without her because I would ask her questions. As she got me my fitness sponsor, she got me connected to really amazing people, and I feel like I couldn't have done anything without her by my side. And even in times of like doubt or anything, I message her, and she's amazing. So shout out Raven, I love you.
Sounds like a good person to have in your
Me
corner.
too. Oh, she is. She's yeah, especially in the USA. If you're competing in USA pageants, you definitely want to link yourself up with Raven.
All right, so we've got a couple of questions coming in now. Let me circle back to one of the questions I got on Instagram for you,
Ooh.
which was, this is kind of a big question, but they asked, what are you most proud of in your life? I know that's a big question, so you might need to
No,
take a
I love
moment to
that
think.
question. No, I the most proud of for me is never giving up in whatever situation I was in. I struggled through depression and there were times where I thought of giving up and I didn't. I had faith in God and I believe in God. So I would always pray to him, always talk to him. And I had a really big support system. So that really helped. And then in pageantry, I've competed, I guess, 7 pageants. We were talking about and the seventh one I won, but I never gave up. And I always had a dream of representing my country internationally, which is why, I could have easily competed in the United States again, but I didn't want
Hmm.
to. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to represent my country because that is what made me. That is who I am, and it's in my blood. So I think never giving up. That is the proudest thing in my life, I guess, that I've
Next question, English, so I can read it out. Which queens are you most excited to meet that are from the other continents? And who do you think would be an exciting roommate to have? That's a good question.
done.
All
Oh my
right,
God.
Somalia.
Okay. So without hurting any feelings, I'm only gonna mention like the ones that I talk to more because I
Yeah.
do talk to like the most of the queens. I love Puerto Rico. I love Venezuela. Honduras, honestly, all of them, Guatemala, they're all amazing. We're all we're always talking on Instagram. We're always hyping each other up. But I feel like the one I talked to the most is probably Venezuela. So she would be cool to have as a roommate. But I get along with everybody. So I think regardless of who my roommate is, it's going to be a really fun time.
How many, I mean, you said you started a group chat with the other contestants. How many countries have actually selected their contestant at this
I
stage? Because we're only
believe,
4 months out.
I believe 20. There's
Wow.
20 so far. It's because I am on social media, but I'm also not. So I only check
Yeah.
on like my notifications, then I get out. But for now, I believe it's 20. Some haven't read my DMs, so that not all of them are on the group chat, but I did, you know, send it out
Yeah.
to everybody
Yeah.
so they can be included because it's, that's mainly what I love about pageantry is the women that you get to meet, not just women, but people in general. So.
Yeah. Sounds like there's going to be a lot of countries announcing their contestants
Yes,
over
I
the
think
next couple of months.
Colombia is this Sunday. The finals is this Sunday. So I'm excited because my friend Priscilla's, gonna crown her successor, and then I get to meet the next representative, and so on and so forth. Because I know a lot of them are coming up. So it's a lot of countries.
Yeah. Priscilla being Priscilla Londoño. How useful is it having sort of not Priscilla in your pocket, but obviously you're friends with her, and she did extraordinarily well at the last iteration of Miss Grand
Yeah,
International. That's got to be a useful. I mean, it's a friendship, but it's got to be a useful
definitely.
connection to have,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we were friends even before she competed or decided to compete for Miss Grand Colombia. So, but I was there with her, like, kind of to see the process and everything. And I was so proud of her and everything. But once I was like, okay, let me do this, like, I was like, I need your advice. I need your help, your guidance. And she gave me such good advice and is continuing to, like, help me, even, like, messaging her, like, what should I do in this case or this case? Just having her there is really helpful, especially someone who was already at the competition and kind of knows a
Mm.
little bit how it's done, what to expect, what not to expect. That was really important, at least for me in my preparation now. And also, it was really cool seeing like my friend like up on that stage. Like
Mm.
she just shined, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I was so proud of her, but I'm thankful for her guidance, especially now.
It's funny because I don't know if it's the right way to say it, but to me, because I saw videos and I saw the live, and she really came alive on stage. She looked so fierce. When I interviewed her, I'm not going to say she wasn't fierce, but she was very, very interesting to talk to. Could hold a serious conversation. I think she was wearing a suit, so you could see her being in a corporate boardroom or CEO. And then just in my mind, it's like, hang on, I've interviewed her, and on stage she had such a sassy presence, and I
Yeah.
wasn't really ready for that. And I saw it, was like, wow, that's that's something else. I don't know. That's just something she always had, or she had to work really hard
No.
on it.
I
But
mean,
she really came
had
alive.
it. She always had it, but I think with her preparation and also Miss Grand just brings out the
Mm,
best in you, brings out that wow in somebody, which is what I love
mm.
to see. So she did come alive on stage, and I think she was just having the best time, and that's what matters most. And it showed because she was just out there living her best life.
I'm going to go back to the questions. Just one more question from myself. Miss Grand is quite famous for the over the top, let's say, country introductions. Have you been working on your Miss Grand Paraguay? How you're going to say it? Hopefully, you're not going to be like Universe in a France situation.
No, no, I would definitely clear my voice, do little like exercises, but I have been playing around with different things. I
Okay.
don't know how I want to say it, but I have options and I have different hand gestures and all that fun stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, it's super important, especially in Miss Grand. Like I feel like
Mm.
that's what people look for the most. So that is gonna be exciting though. But just to finally like yell
Be
out,
able to say
"Oh
it.
my!" Like, oh my god, that is dream come true, honestly. So we'll see
Absolutely.
once we get there, but I am practicing on that.
Just remember to clear your throat before. I mean, otherwise, I mean, if you don't, and you do, we have a France situation. I mean, that was the most trending video in the world for a short
I was
time. Ended
gonna
up on
say,
SNL and everything.
you know what? She's still relevant to today. So
She took it with very good grace as well.
she did, and she
Um,
even redid the video again.
oh, did she?
Yeah, like she did it again, I think. All
Okay, I
right.
thought it was like a frog in her throat. I was wondering if she'd be able to do the same thing again.
it probably just slipped out, and once it just comes out, you're just like, oh, well, I can't take it back.
Gotta have fun with it. Danny has asked, have you also been keeping an eye on Miss Grand USA? And do you know any of the girls competing for the title?
Yes, I have been keeping an eye. I have a few friends that are competing, and one of them I am helping her. She's Miss
Hmm.
Grand Maryland. Sorry, I almost said USA. Different system. But yes, I'm excited for the girls competing because I do follow some of them, and I see all their hard work. And I think it's in August, and I'm actually going to be going. So I am excited to watch my friends compete and meet the new Miss Grand USA because hopefully we could travel together because I am in Houston. So
Mm.
I would like to go to Vietnam with at least someone that I know.
Have you ever been down to that part of the world before, or
No,
Southeast Asia?
no, it's my first time. So I'm super, super excited. And I hope, I mean, I can stay there longer.
That's a subtle way of saying it.
Yes,
It's gonna be hot. Probably. I mean, you're from Texas. You're used to the heat,
it's
but the humidity.
98
Yeah,
degrees Fahrenheit here. So I don't know if y'all do Celsius or Fahrenheit, but
I do. But I was over in Texas, so I got very familiar with Fahrenheit. And when I
oh,
was there,
and you were there
it
in
was
summer,
over 100 degrees every day. It's 110.
so you
So
know exactly. Yeah, it's already started. It already started.
the humidity might be more of the problem in Vietnam with your hair and all that sort of stuff, keeping it under control. I think the heat will be easy for you. The
I
humidity.
mean, Houston, it is very humid here. So, but I have really straight hair, so thankfully, I don't
Oh.
think I don't really frizz. But with what I'm planning on taking and styling, I don't know.
Is it difficult to keep certain things under wraps? Remember what you want to say and what it's almost like, when the superhero, the actors go on their press tour and they have to not say something
Tom
and then they
Holland,
accidentally, yeah, let
The
something out.
worst, like
Yeah.
spilling out all the secrets. No, I am a very private person, but I also like to keep the element of surprise. So
Okay.
most of what I'm planning on doing, you're going to see the minute that it happens or the moment that it happens. So I like to keep people on their toes, kind of keep them guessing. And also, I always keep myself guessing too. 'Cause I change my mind all the time. So
Okay.
I might go in thinking like I'm gonna do this, and that's not what I'm gonna do at the like. So I surprise myself all the time too. So
How many suitcases are we taking over to Vietnam? Just with the surprises. The more surprises there are, the more suitcases we need. How
so
many suitcases?
depending on the national costume too, I don't know how big that's gonna be. I took 3 to Paraguay, and those are big. So I'm assuming I'm gonna be taking about 4 to 5
Wow. Okay.
or 6, depending on like I said, how big the national costume is. I have to fit it somewhere, or I don't know if it'll be in a box. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know anything about that right now. But I do feel like it's definitely more than 3 because it's a whole month and hopefully plus
Yeah.
some. So I'm trying to plan ahead and thinking of also we have a lot of outfit changes throughout
Mm.
the days, and even in one day we could have like a lot of activities that we would have to change for. So I know they send out like an itinerary, so that's going to be helpful once I start packing. But I already have some outfits in mind. But yeah, it is going to be a lot of suitcases. So
The national costume is always the hardest one from my experience. So I've had some girls that taking like over electronics with things that light up, and
yeah,
then wings obviously is a popular one, and wings aren't the easiest to pack. So yeah, the national
yeah,
costume by itself.
I wouldn't even know how to even begin, but I'm sure I'll have the proper help that I would need. But yeah, I can only imagine having to travel with that, and also like worrying about like what's gonna happen if the suitcase doesn't like get in
Oh,
on
don't say that. No, don't even go there. I've had certain friends who've had that situation, put all the work into the actually it
time.
wasn't grand. It wasn't grand, but it was 6 years ago, and they had the whole national costume and it just never showed up. So they actually had to borrow someone else's clothes and make their own costume out of it. So don't even go there,
I'm
Miley.
not gonna go there, but thanks for saying that, so I could at least have like a some kind of like I guess I can make something real quick.
Well, she dealt with it really well, and the fans knew what she was going through, so they were very supportive of her, I have to say. And when
That's
she got up
sweet.
on stage, they gave her a huge cheer, and she was climbing the ranks of the fan favorite because she made do. She was from Ireland. She's one of my friends from Ireland. She was representing Northern Ireland, and she did very, very well. Okay, next question. This one is in Spanish, so over to you to read it out, and then perhaps answer it in Spanish as well.
I'm gonna translate it for you. They're asking what beauty queen inspired me the most as a young girl and now. Um,
Okay.
so, la reina, bueno, nunca, yo como me gustaban los certámenes de belleza, pero de chiquita no, estaba más enfocada en ballet, todo eso, de baile. A mí me encantaba bailar. Pero mi reina que me inspira es Chesley Christ. Ella era Miss USA 2019 y lástimamente no está aquí con nosotros, pero ella sí me inspira muchísimo porque era una mujer um, que tenía de todo, era abogada, ella siempre entraba en un cuarto y sonría y todo eso, entonces me gustó eso. So Chesley Christ, I said, is the queen that inspires me the most, and to this day, still.
Got that one. Rest in peace. Now, Jessica has said she's the next MGI. No pressure there at all.
No pressure.
Danny has said, also not a question, but just wanted to say, as a Paraguayan American, to have you, Maelia, as our representative is really touching. Lovely.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Danny. Honestly, it means the world to me that you said that because I know at the beginning when I started competing in Paraguay, a lot of people were saying, like, well, she didn't grow up here, whatever, but
Mm,
I was born there. And it doesn't matter where you're born in the world or where you go after that, you will always carry that blood inside you. And I've always been so proud to be from Paraguay. And now I'm able to represent my country internationally. So that's amazing. But also it wasn't my choice to grow up outside
mm.
of of my country. God chose that path for me, but I'm so happy that I'm able to still represent it. And also all the Paraguayan Americans out there, because there's a lot of us here in the States. So thank you so much for that message.
How big roughly is the Paraguayan community in the States in general or near where you're at? I have no idea. Is it a
There's
big
a lot of us.
community?
There's more, I would say, like in the New York area. There's some fans that have written to me from LA, from
Hmm.
California, from Florida, and I love reading all their messages and also saying that I represent them too, because some of us did leave the country, and
Mm.
that doesn't make us any less Paraguayan. So I love receiving messages like that because it just like it kind of connects all the worlds together. Like no matter where you are in the world, like Paraguay unite.
How's your Spanish been going? I can only imagine
It's
you've been
been better.
speaking.
It's been
Yeah.
better. I'm getting better and better every time. But I will say, when I'm there, I'm talking Spanish all the time. I kind of forget English after for a while.
Really?
And I'm now I think in Spanish now too, like more than
Oh,
English. So it's weird. Like I have moments where I'm just thinking in Spanish, and then I'm like, wait,
that's
what's the
interesting.
word in English? I'm like, what's the word in English? Like I know this. So I've been speaking a lot more Spanish, and also all my friends here in Houston are Latinos. They're from Venezuela, Colombia, Argentina. They're from all over the place. So I'm constantly talking Spanish with my friends too. So it's really neat. It's really neat.
If you start speaking in Spanish, that actually means that you're trending towards becoming like a native speaker because obviously, you're bilingual. But if you're
Yeah.
starting to think in Spanish, then it sounds
I think
like you
that's the true meaning of being bilingual,
yeah.
is when you think in both and not just speak. I don't know. I think that's what someone told me the other day. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. But my first language was Spanish. I learned Spanish first. My parents are Cuban. They were born in Cuba, both of them. So I grew up knowing Spanish. But once I got into school, it was like English, 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 English. You read in English, talked in English, wrote in English. Everything was English. So I kind of was like, okay, I guess I need to focus more on English. I did have an accent when I was little. It,
Oh, okay.
I had a little accent when I was little. I don't know when that left my vocals, but like it would kind of be cool if I had an accent. But now I have an accent in Spanish apparently. So
Do you dream in English or Spanish?
both. It depends who's in my dream, who I'm talking to.
Wow.
Yeah, if it's like
That's
if like my grandma visits me, I talk to her in Spanish, or if my friends that are Spanish speakers, it's weird. It's just the same as real life, but mainly in English. Like I would say mainly in English, but
let's
I
go
never
to the
thought of
next
that.
question.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the real one is what language you dream in. But my father also said, what language do you do math in? So like when you're adding up and you're going, oh, what's 7 plus 7 or working out change? And for me, that apparently that's the big sign.
It is difficult, especially when the currencies are different.
Your brain sometimes, depending on because you're traveling so much, your brain must be, hang on, what country am I in? What state am I in? What currency am I using? Who am I speaking to? And your brain's just like, give me a
My
break.
my brain has been through a lot too lately. It's more stimulated now more than ever, that's for sure.
So we still have the same favorite melting emoji then. Sounds like it's going to be pretty applicable, more applicable even than
More
before.
applicable. And also I now like the upside down smiley face. I think
I do
that's
like that
kind
one.
of equivalent to the little.
Yeah. It's just like when your world is upside down, but you're trying to put a smile on it.
Yes,
I think
exactly.
that's the perfect one. Let's go to our next question. Alberto here has asked, how do you feel about the swimsuit competition since it's a huge part of MGI?
I am super excited for that. Um, I know last year they did it differently because they had to go to a different location to do the swimsuit because of, I guess, the, it was a little conservative because they had to use the, like, I guess, gym
Mhm.
workouts. But I hope this year is different. But even if it's not, I'm super excited for a swimsuit competition because I feel like I could really show off that sass and the walk I've been working on. So I'm super excited about
Got a lot of other comments here, like Queen Maelia.
that. Thank
It says,
you.
I think that must be an emoji, hand pink waving.
I think it
Um,
is.
Hermosa, and then lots of Paraguayan flags. I think that is with a lot of
Yes,
crowns.
it is. That's our flag. We are actually one of the only countries that has a double-sided flag. It's double-sided. On the back, it says "Paz y Justicia," which is peace and justice. So it's
Oh
pretty
wow!
cool. Yeah, our country has been through a lot in the past, especially with war and the Triple Alliance, which was like Paraguay against like Brazil, Argentina, like everyone surrounding them.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's our country has been through a lot, a
I had no idea about the flag because I look up flags to use as emojis when I'm interviewing
lot.
people,
Yeah,
but obviously there's only one emoji for the Paraguayan flag. I had no idea it was
yeah.
different
I
on
mean,
the other side. That's
that's,
fascinating.
I guess, the main one. I mean, you can't have
Sure.
two
Yeah.
flags
Two
in one
emojis.
country, right? But the back is really cool. It's really neat, and it has like a lion in the back. And I don't know. It's super interesting.
Wow.
You could Google it later, but
Yeah.
it is fascinating. It's kind of like, yeah, we have two sides. Like, what sides do you have? Just one. Just kidding.
That's very. I can't think of any other country that has that. I'm gonna look that up.
I
That's
can't either, honestly. I think we're the only ones, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
doesn't matter. Now Danny again, who I think that so Danny said also Paraguayan in New York. Woo, well, there you go. Now he's asked MGI's. I mean, you were just talking about Paraguay's history. So MGI's identity is about stopping the war and violence. What is your take on the meaning of this slogan?
Well, I think it's very prevalent till today because there's so many things going on in the world. And as you know, Paraguay has been through a lot of war. So has USA, since we're both from both countries. But I think the take on the meaning is so important because I feel like this is the only beauty pageant that is actually focused on that. It's not just like, oh, like let's make up a platform, and no,
Mm,
this is like let's stop the war and violence. And it affects us all, no matter where you are on earth. it affects us all, especially in the USA too, because we do get involved with a lot of other countries with aid and stuff like that. I feel like I'm going to have a really big message
Mm,
to say when I am there. I'm not going to say it now, but I
of
do
course.
already know what I want to talk about, and I already have plans for that, and I know what I'm going to say. And I also have so I don't even want to say it. Y'all are going to see soon. I have a really big social project based on this. So that's all I'll say.
That sounds super exciting. I will say, just reading the slogan again, war and violence. So it's war, but also violence, not necessarily in war, in which case you're including things like mass shootings or domestic
Yeah.
violence or things
Or
like that. And
psychological violence.
mm,
But that's what I did my, I guess, speech on at Miss Grand Paraguay. Obviously, it was in Spanish, but I talked about the psychological violence and how it affects us all. And, it's also important to share that it's not just domestic violence, it's not just gun violence. There's so many
mm,
other violences that there are. But regardless, like, I feel like we all, at some point in our lives, meet one of them. I think psychological is the biggest one though, because we all have mental health and we all struggle through some things. And sometimes, you know, we meet people that just aren't the nicest to our mental health.
yeah, when you put it that way, I think it's a very good point because I mean, things like gun violence or domestic violence, I think it's actually the end result of something else. Because I mean, when you look at someone who's committing domestic violence or shooting people, they're not mentally well. And very often you find, obviously, they've gone through stuff, not excusing it all. But
No,
very often you find people who are shooting other people were horrifically bullied and then they didn't deal with it well. And social media, I mean, just you said that earlier on that you were sort of on social media, but also not.
yeah.
How has that journey with your mental health been leading up to a huge pageant
So,
where you got lots of people excited for you, but
yes.
dealing with the social media aspect of it?
So I haven't really explained this to anybody, so this will be my first time explaining. But yeah, I am not on social media that much. I decided for my mental health, as everyone knows, I put my mental health first always,
Mm,
that I need to take many breaks off social
mm,
media to be able to fully prepare 100% and represent myself in the best way that I can, not just myself, but my country. And
yeah.
in order to do that, I have to set boundaries. Setting boundaries is the number one thing that can help you if you're struggling with mental health. And for me, I felt that social media was really affecting me in a negative way because, yes, I understand social media is great to connect with people all over the world, but there's also a lot of people that want to see you fail. And
Mm,
I am not going to allow that to happen. So, in order for me to really maintain a positive mindset and to continue going, I have to take a step back and, kind of regroup, come back when I need to, post when I need to, interact with the fans. But for the most part, I really need to protect my mental health and my peace in order
mm.
to fully present myself the best way that I can at that international pageant. So I hope people can kind of understand that and where I'm coming from because it could mental health, could be detrimental in anything that you do in your life. And if you don't have a good relationship with it, it could probably destroy everything you've worked so hard for. So that is
Absolutely.
why I'm taking that as my number one priority and putting my mental health first and setting boundaries on the things that can harm me.
Mm. No, that's really well said, and I wish more queens would do that because you can see the toll it takes on their mental health.
There's a
But
lot
there's
of
this
pressure. There's a
well,
lot of
there's a lot of pressure, and I think there's also pressure for them to be on all the time and then respond to everyone. But at some stage, you have to go like, well, I have a life outside of this. You probably have work, you might have a
yes, thank
relationship,
you.
and you need to balance it.
I'm not on my phone all the time, and I don't
Mm,
want to be. I like to be present with the people I'm with or
mm,
whatever I'm doing. I know I'm going to try to at least, I guess, have someone help me film certain things, but all my like training is on my phone, so I can't be recording and filming at the same time. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, I know I read a comment the other day that it was in Spanish, and they were saying like, oh, she's a little like apagada, like off, you know. And
Okay.
I was like, well, I'm still training. I'm still doing
Mm.
what I need to do. Y'all aren't seeing it. But I also want people to realize like just because a queen doesn't post something doesn't mean they're not doing it. And for
Mm.
me, at least, it's to protect my mental health. And I'm sure people would want me to do that so I could be able to be the best
Yeah.
version of myself. So, it is when you just need to be strong enough to do that. As a beauty queen, I think we do feel the pressure. And it's amazing having that kind of audience, that big impact you have. But at the same time, like I said, there are people that want to see you fail or that want to just throw you off the game a little bit, but I'm not going to allow that. So Instagram has made it really cool though. They've made some settings come up where you can hide
Yeah.
certain words, and I love
Yeah.
to utilize that too, just to prevent any kind of comments that you might not necessarily need to read. A lot of people are very entitled to their opinions, and I understand. I get it completely, but I don't need to see that when I'm preparing for something that's really important for me.
You can, I think, also turn with your DMs on Instagram. You can have the quiet setting on,
I
so you're
do.
not notified by that. I turned all my notifications off because I don't want to see any of them. But it's really interesting because when you send someone a message who is on quiet mode, Instagram then tells you they haven't seen the notification because they're on quiet mode. And I like that because it's like, okay, so she's not ignoring me or he's not
Yeah.
ignoring me, and they're protecting. I got to imagine their mental health, their inner peace, and I'm like, good for them. I'm
Yeah.
never resentful, like, "You didn't message me back," like, in instantly. It's like, "No, good for
Yeah.
them. Good for you."
I love that. The only thing I don't like is that it only lets you set it for 12 hours.
Oh,
So
really?
it's not like you
Yeah.
can, yeah, it's not like you could have it on 24/7. Because if that was the case, I
I'm
would.
permanent quiet mode.
But even on Instagram, on your settings on your phone, you can even silence it too. So it doesn't just have to be on
Yeah.
Instagram, but it does show the other person that you are on
Yeah.
quiet mode and you won't receive that notification. So I think that's neat. But yeah, I don't ignore people either. Like I just
Good.
don't click it. I don't get
Yeah.
the notification first of all because my notifications are off. I took it off like 2 years ago for
Mm.
mental purposes, but I took it off. So I don't really receive it. I only get it when I'm on. And I'm not always like sometimes I get in for 5 minutes at a time. I don't just end up scrolling there. So I
That's good.
think it's great that pageantry is now really big on social media. And we're
Mm.
utilizing that as a platform to expand our brand, our purpose, our meaning, and for business purposes for those pageants, because pageantry is business. It's a business.
Yeah.
It's,
Yep.
it's great. It's great. So I love that they're using that tool, but we ourselves, just as users of social media,
Yeah.
need to maybe sometimes set boundaries and protect ourselves a little bit more because especially when you're young, I can only imagine growing up already with social media because we
Yeah.
didn't. We
No.
didn't. We grew into
No. I remember a world without social media. That's how old I am.
I do too. I do too. And I liked it. I loved it. I miss MySpace, first of all. I
Oh, God.
would love MySpace to come back,
Jeez.
except having those top 8 fights with your friends. Why did you leave me?
There was MySpace, there was Tumblr. I think Tumblr is still around.
Tumblr's
MySpace is
still
pretty much
around.
dead.
I definitely used that a lot in high school, but I felt like Tumblr was a space that you could really just express yourself
Yeah, it's very
without
creative.
being judged. MySpace was more like, oh, like we're all watching your stuff. But I love those bulletin boards, and sometimes like you would
God.
just answer a bunch of questions like, when was your last kiss? And then you would put like, your it was
It
that
was so innocent back then. I mean, we
so
got bulletin boards.
innocent.
Everyone who's a millennial is like, "What's a bulletin board?" And I'm like, "Oh, don't
Well,
even ask."
I'm a millennial. I'm in the like. I'm not Gen Z. That's for sure. I don't categorize me there. I don't know.
Very pointed. Okay.
Like, wait a second. I am a millennial, but I'm kind of towards the end, I think, but not
What a
too
what a
too to Gen Z.
What about your relationship with TikTok? Because I follow you on TikTok, and I say like your TikToks always make me laugh. Like I'm always interested to see what Miley has done this time, and you seem to love using the pre-made ones that like he's a 10 but or she's a 10 but, and then the other one I thought was really funny is like your red flags or whatever. It's like, and it got it completely wrong. Like it said you were messy, you like to get into fights and all this other stuff.
Yes, and
That looks like you're enjoying yourself on that platform.
I love TikTok because I feel like people don't take it too seriously. Like, yes and
Yeah,
no. Like, you could really just post whatever you want without it being aesthetic
yeah,
or, you know, whatever you think that you would post on Instagram. Because I feel like Instagram's way more like aesthetic and stuff.
yeah.
But that's why I like to use TikTok so much because I could really just be myself and just post whatever. And I'm honestly posting more now on TikTok of content that I probably should be posting on Instagram, which I could do, but I want to put more traffic to my TikTok, which is why I'm doing that. But I just prefer it more because I really do feel like it's more fun and where I could actually like just show
Yeah,
more of myself.
I
And
like it.
I really like TikTok though because I'm on the Vanderpump Rules TikTok right now. Like I don't know if you know what's going on, but if you don't, it's okay. Don't worry about it. So I just started getting more into TikTok because there was this whole scandal on that. So I was like getting my updates from there because I don't have Peacock. I can't watch Vanderpump Rules on
Oh,
Peacock.
right. Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to TikTok for my daily Vanderpump
News.
Rules update, and that's I think why I started using it more as of lately. So it is. I love those
Okay.
pre-made though. They're just so much fun for me. Like it's just like let's see if the algorithm pops up. But yeah, that red flag one was so
A little
wrong,
off.
so
You don't
wrong.
like starting fights?
No, I don't. I don't like confrontation at all. I'm a Libra, so if you know much about, I don't know much about signs. First of all, I just know my sign. I'm a Libra. We're kind of people pleasers in the sense, so
Mhm.
we don't like to, have confrontation, especially when it's starting fights. I feel like when I have a confrontation, I choose my words very wisely, and I'm very mindful about the other person, considering
That's a
being people
that's a
pleasing.
good thing.
Yes,
That's
I
a
feel
good
like
thing.
many people should probably start doing that. But yeah, TikTok is fun, and I feel like I'm probably going to be using it a lot more.
So the moral of this story is people watching should go follow you on TikTok.
Yes, follow me on TikTok. It's the same as my all of my social medias.
There you go. Now let me. God, there's been a lot of comments. I've lost my spot. Give me a second. All right.
You
So
know, you know it's
Alberto here has asked a question, which I'm going to think is probably the answer is not much, but he's
we
asked,
haven't
"Can
even
we get a
talked
hint?"
we haven't
Okay.
talked about it, so there's no like I don't even know what we're gonna do. But I know it's gonna be great, and it's gonna be amazing. And I do know what colors I have in mind, but that's all. That's all I can say. Well, I'm
Hush,
not going to say
hush.
the actual colors, but
Hush, hush.
hush.
Dennis asks another question. How was your experience working with Coco Rocha?
Oh my God, Coco Rocha, the icon, the legend. She is absolutely amazing, super humble in person. I truly felt so confident walking out of that camp because she made us really look within ourselves and also embrace who we are. You don't have to be the tallest to be the model. You don't have to be the skinniest to be a model. You just need to be yourself, and that is enough. And I think that is the most important lesson that upcoming models or even models should have because it is so easy to get lost in the world and lost in comparison. And I think modeling is changing. It's more inclusive, and I love
Mm,
seeing that. And I feel like there's actually is a space for us, for me being short and maybe not the skinniest, but that's who I am. And I really learned a lot from that camp. I learned more about how to deal with agencies, how to what to look for in contracts, little things like that. And I think that was mainly for me why I wanted to go because I wanted to really know what to look for and how to work with agencies and also
mm.
being careful with contracts because it could, contracts can really like
A legally binding document.
legally binding document. So it was super important for me to go to that camp to experience all of that and to have Coco Rocha tell you these things. And also her watching her pose. Oh my God. What? Watching her runway in person in the flesh. It was inspirational for sure. And I have definitely used a lot of the material that I learned in my own personal shoots that I've been doing. And I have so much content coming up. I'm excited to post, but I'm saving it for a rainy day.
Fair enough. Now, loyalty is not a question, but has said, may you an incredible woman and going full force with that power. Wishing you all the success from Chile.
Oh
So there you go.
yes, actually, I actually met her. She came to Miss Grand Paraguay. She drove all the way from Chile, and she gave me a gift.
Wow.
I actually have it over here. But she is amazing. Thank you so much, Lourdes. I honestly, truly love all the support that I've been getting from everybody, especially the Paraguay community that lives outside of
Mm.
Paraguay. Like they are really cool, and I love seeing us all over the place, like scattered in different countries.
Rosa here, Rosa Husa said
Oh,
queen, and then given you a bunch of smiling love faces. Danny, what would it mean to land the top 10 voted queens and be able to have the special dinner with Mr. Nawat? Paraguay has been able to send our queens there last year with Agatha.
yes, I remember that, and I honestly, that would mean the world to me. That would, yeah, it's a group effort. It's a country effort. You know, it's not just me that gets to show up. It's my country gets to help me get into that top 10 spot. And
Mm.
it would mean a dream come true because that's the first time I can actually really express my gratitude to the organization for all that they're doing for us, for just having this opportunity to come to Vietnam and represent my country. And I am so excited. I really hope that happens, that I can have that dinner with Mr. Nawat and get to express my gratitude and also just explain the explain why I'm here, why I love it, and I guess give them a little taste of who I am.
Perfect. Well, guys, if you have any more questions, whack them in the comments before I let Miley go. Um, just before we, oh, Ralph here has, oh, Ralph, who's over in America. Miley, you remind me of my wonderful friend Sunny Day.
Oh,
Sunny just
Sunny!
won Miss Oklahoma, which I was very
Yes.
happy for. That's a girl who's tried many, many times,
Name it.
similarly
And
to
I
yourself.
talked to Sunny. I've been rooting her on. I literally cried when she
Mm,
won. I got
yeah,
so emotional because if y'all don't know Sunny Day, go to her Instagram right now. She is
Sunny M Day.
Sunny M Day. Yes, Sunny M, like Maelia M Day. That's her Instagram. But she is amazing, honestly.
Mm.
She's an inspiration. She's also a teacher. I love seeing her when she posts all her like teacher content. It's really cool. She really is her name. Like she is
Mm.
just a ray of sunshine. So I am so happy for her, and honestly, I'm rooting for her. She's
Yeah.
my Miss America. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, she would be an amazing
She would
title
be
holder.
a great Miss America. Like this is, I am so happy for her. She's exactly where she's meant to be right now.
Yeah, when I saw her crowning the crowning moment, I was very happy, and you could see the reaction. Or you saw it,
Yes.
so genuine because of so much work has gone into that. Did you know about her? She calls it her alter ego. So Sunny Day as a teacher, but on stage it's Stormy Night.
Yes. I mean, she is. She is a force to be reckoned with. She is
Mm,
a great competitor, and I obviously never got to compete with her because we're from different states. But
yeah.
I'd love to watch her and just support her from afar, of course. But she is one of the best queens that
Mm,
America could have, and I'm saying like USA, America, all the systems, like just a competitor as a whole. I
absolutely.
love how she never gave up either. She never gave up
Well,
either.
she's super tough. If you not to self plug, but I interviewed her. If you want to hear about her backstory, go listen to it because there's
Yeah.
all sorts of big problems that she went through as a child that you never would have thought of. And now she's working as a teacher, as you said, and
Yeah.
leading the world for our next generation. And she wants to make some big differences in the education system in the United States, which
Yes, and
obviously
I
is a
think
very
it's very much needed in our
oh,
education
absolutely,
system, but
yeah,
also, she can speak as a teacher, being not only as
mm,
a student before, now as an educator, and now as a representation of her state. And
mm,
I'm so excited to see what she will do because I know it's going to be
yeah,
amazing. And I'm excited to be following that,
yeah.
her journey.
Yeah, you and me both. I think it's so great just to make it makes me happy when I see someone who has something they stand for, they're really passionate about, and they've been through tough times, and they
Yeah.
finally get their big win. So they're going to appreciate it just that little bit more.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, wish her all the best, definitely. Danny has said we've seen support and love from Asia already to you. What does it mean to you to have that from people outside of the Paraguayan community in general?
It is amazing. First of all, I feel so blessed to have that kind of support, not just from my country, but from other countries too. And I think that's the most beautiful part about pageantry is just bringing the whole world together, getting to know people from different cultures, different countries, different aspects, having their input in things. I'm learning a little bit of Vietnamese, a little bit of
Okay,
Thai. So Xin Chào, which is hello, and Sawadika, hello in Thailand. So I'm loving just kind of embracing everyone else's culture too, and it really means a lot to me. And I'm excited to meet some of those fans when I actually go over there because that's going to be even like
it's going to
another
be something
level.
else. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. It means the world to me. It's really special.
Well, we're coming up to about an hour, so I will let you go in a sec. But let me just ask, so coming up, you got about 4 months, as we've said. For the fans or anyone who wants to keep up to date with what you're up to, what's the best way to keep up to date with the adventures of Milia?
So I am on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and I will be starting YouTube, I think, a little bit more. So I'm probably going to just be sharing the same kind of things in all platforms. But I might be vlogging way more about my journey on YouTube.
That'll be
But
cool.
all my social media handles are the same. It's Maelia Salcines, and you can add me on there. I will be using TikTok more now. I will tell you that, but I'm still figuring out the whole editing situation for
Yeah,
YouTube because that is hard. It's time consuming unless I hire someone, but I'm on a budget right now, so that doesn't. That's not. I don't think that'll happen. But I'm definitely gonna have to take that time to edit all the videos that I have because I do have a lot of content, like I said, that I'm dying to post, but it's like I can't get my head together to do it. It's like a to-do list constantly on
in your
repeat.
head.
Yes.
It's a shame that we can't get paid as pageant queens, isn't it? Like people forget because it's also glamorous and famous, and you're
Yeah.
like, actually, they're probably paying for everything out of their own pocket.
The majority, yes. Yes. I mean, you can get sponsorships, but for the most part, you're paying for it all and putting
Yes.
in all the work and effort. It would be great to have someone to just be like, oh, I'll take your social media, I'll do it for you. I would probably be on active a lot more, which it probably wouldn't be me. But no, I do have a lot of content. I just need to have a day where I sit down, plan it all, edit it all, and just
Mm,
there. Because Instagram now you can schedule it, which is great because you don't have to use like the later app or anything like that.
yeah, yeah. TikTok, I think, as well, which I
Yeah.
was impressed with. I'll let you read this one out because this one's in Spanish, so I
Oh,
can't.
thank you, Carlos. I love Carlos, by the way. Maelia es tan increíble, una persona. I love that. She was just saying, like, just complimenting me. But yes, I miss Paraguay. Los extraño muchísimo. Estoy esperando para la organización que me dice cuándo tengo que regresar. Pero voy a regresar en un mes, algo así, 2 meses. Y después en septiembre sí voy a estar allá. So yeah.
Sounds good to me. I understand words here and there, so I think I get the gist. But Malia, I'm not going to get you to go through the final 10 questions again because it'll be the third time and it seems a bit excessive. But I will, if I can get you to cast your mind back over your pageant journey. As you said, this was lucky number 7. And
Lucky me.
all the people you've met, all the people who have supported you. And if you wanted to take a moment to shout out the people who have been there to support you along the way, or a message for your hardcore fans who have been Team Milia all the way. Is there anything that you'd
Yeah.
like to say to them?
So, as far as English goes, I would like to thank my mom, my dad, my brothers, my nephews, my sister-in-law, all my family for really sticking with me through this journey. And they're going to be there in Vietnam. So I'm also want to say thank
Wow.
you guys for already like being excited and going to go see me, even though I know I won't be able to see you guys. I know you'll have a great time. And Raven Ramsey, Miss Raven, I love you. And also Team Flawless, that's the company I work for, but they've also been a huge part of my journey. And Albert, Amin, Stephanie, Gabby, other Stephanie, just there's the whole team. I am so appreciative to you guys. Megan, she's my fitness trainer. Thank
Hmm.
you so much for everything, for believing in me. And I feel like I may be forgetting a few people, but my friends, there's too many of y'all to thank per name. So you guys know who you are. I love you guys. Y para Team Maelia y Team Paraguay, gracias por todo el apoyo y el amor que me han dado. Vamos a full. Estoy preparando todos los días para representarnos en el certamen que viene y estoy tan ansiosa para enseñar y mostrar todo lo que estoy trabajando. Entonces, nos vemos pronto y Roja y Hu, Paraguay. Roja y Hu
Well,
means I love you. It's Guarani. It's our native language in Paraguay, which Paraguay also holds true to its tradition, origin, and original language.
it sounds like a fascinating country.
It is. It's the official language is Guarani. So they speak either Guarani or Spanish, or they kind of mix both. But it's interesting.
Well, Malia, why don't we hold it there? Third time is the charm. Congratulations so much. I'm so glad I get to, like, I've literally charted in some ways with these interviews, like charted your journey all the way back when, and then, as a Miss Grand Paraguay finalist, and now finally as Miss Grand Paraguay. So I can actually say, congratulations, well deserved. And I can't wait to see you shine on stage.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited. I know I have a lot more to prepare and more to train, but 4 months is enough. And I am more than certain it's going to be great.
Well, you look ready and you look excited and you look
I
like you're in a good place,
I
which is the
am
main
actually.
thing.
I am in a good place. And now it's just taking it day by day, one step at a time, and continue this journey and enjoying the moment. I think that's the biggest takeaway
Mm.
that I want to have is just enjoy the moment, enjoy the process, and because it's a once in a lifetime experience, and I'm so blessed to be able to have that.
Yeah, I remember speaking to someone who competed at Miss Universe, and the advice she was given was take a moment before you get on stage just to think about, just to appreciate where you are, all the work, the blood, sweat, and tears, sometimes literally,
Literally,
that has gone into it, because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
it really is, and I think after this is it for me. So I am soaking it all in.
I've learned to never take you pageant girls at your word when you say this is it. The
Well,
number of retirements,
I'm old, so
you're all, well,
I can't.
old. I
No,
mean,
I
those,
feel like I have other plans for myself
that's
outside
fair.
of pageants. We talked about it last time, so
Mm,
yeah. So that
that's
will
fair.
be my main focus after this time.
And that's a good thing. That's
But
a
as
good
of
thing to have
now,
for life.
let's soak it all in.
Okay. Well, it was fantastic getting to speak to you again. Best of luck. I will keep you on the line for just a sec whilst I hang up with the audience. Thanks, everyone, for watching live or on the replay. And thank you for submitting all your questions. Go follow Maelia on Instagram. Definitely go follow her on TikTok because that's where the the real action is happening. And then follow her on her socials to keep up to date with what she's doing. Sounds like she's got a lot in the works. But I'll keep you on the line for just a sec, Malia, and we'll speak to everyone soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Sorority Access is now open. So if you'd like to join an amazing group of women and learn how to be the most powerful, confident, and impactful queen possible, head to thepageantsorority.com. I'll see you there and see you in the next video.